I want to bring in Congressman McEachin, who represents the southeastern district of Virginia. He also served in the Virginia General Assembly for almost 20 years. Congressman, it's good to see you. And so I want to go back to where we are right at this second. Right now, the governor is in with members of his cabinet. We know what the public statements have been by every major Democratic figure in Virginia and most elsewhere. What does your gut tell you? What's going on in that meeting? Do you think he will resign?
Well, my suspicion is that he's circling the wagons. I don't truly know what's going on in the meeting. I don't have any eyes or ears in there. But there was a meeting last night. Nothing happened other than, again, I would suggest to you the circling of the wagons, and I suspect that's what's going on now.
This has been, in many ways, a test of whether Democrats who have been critical of Donald Trump, whether his comments after Charlottesville, his S-hole countries comments, let's go back to birtherism. Is there any room here for anything but zero tolerance?
You know, the real question that we're faced with is can Ralph Northam at this point in time lead us and heal us? There's always room for redemption. There's always room for forgiveness. But should that be him as governor, or should that be him as a private citizen? And I suggest to you the latter. You know, with all the hubbubaloo about was it me, was it not me, and then the confession that he did Michael Jackson, and then even what I consider a further confession, you know, he knows exactly how much polish to put on his face so that he can still get it off. So that suggests to me that maybe the Michael Jackson incident wasn't the first time that he had done that. The question is can he lead? And don't forget, this is the 400th anniversary of Africans coming to the shores of Jamestown in chains. We're going to have a commemorative ceremony of that later on this year. And does Virginia really want to have a governor who's misled us blackface and have that commemoration at the same time? I would suggest to you that is not the look that Virginia wants to present to the nation.
Yeah, and you talked about that in a statement that you put out, and I just want to read a little bit of what you wrote in calling for the governor's resignation. Virginia has a particularly sordid history with racism, from the first enslaved Africans on our shores to the capital of the Confederacy to massive resistance to the struggles African-American Virginians face today. And I just wonder personally how you're handling this, to have a leader of your own party, a man that I believe you have called a friend, to then resurrect so much of that history.
You know, we were elected together in 2007, took office in 2008 in the Virginia State Senate. You know, I was supportive of his campaign for lieutenant governor. I was supportive of his campaign for governor as well. And so I'm hurt to the core. I consider Ralph a friend. We've been through many legislative battles together, but I truly am cut to the core.
So what can happen now? Is the best possible thing a very quick transition? What do you see going forward as once again the glaring spotlight comes on Virginia in what seems like so soon after Charlottesville?
Yeah, you know, I can trace my roots in Virginia all the way back to just shortly before the Revolutionary War. So Virginia is very much home to me. And I hate to see us have to go through this. And I think the best thing for Ralph to do is to resign. Because if he doesn't, you guys are going to keep reporting on this. They're going to be continuing interviews. They're going to be continuing questions. It's just a nightmare in Virginia right now. And we need it to end.
Well, Congressman, I do appreciate you taking the time to come on with us from Miami, and to be continued as we see what happens in that meeting today.